You are listening to KG Mwekezi on SAFM.
It's 15 minutes past 1. You're listening to SAFM 104 to 107 nationwide. So the youth unemployment rate in South Africa averaged 53.6% from the years 2013 until 2020, reaching an all-time high of 59% in the first quarter of 2020. Youth unemployment remains one of the major challenges in the entire African continent. However, many efforts have been made by various organizations to address this issue. The All for Youth Sub-Saharan Africa Regional Alliance provides unemployed youth with an opportunity to unlock their potential by launching a system to register their profile. There's an opportunity of a paid virtual internship as applications open today, the 12th of August, to enable 100 young people to gain global experience and exposure. Desiree Zikalala is the head of learning for East and Southern Africa region at the Nestle company, and she joins me now on the line so we can talk exactly how one can be a part of this this paid virtual internship. Desiree, good afternoon. Thank you so much for your time.
Good afternoon, KG and your listeners, and thank you so much for having me.
So who qualifies to be a candidate of this specific internship, and break down for me, please, what this opportunity will then entail in it?
Maybe just a bit of a step back with just the context. I mean, you've so well articulated some of the challenges of unemployment that our youth is facing. But more than anything, there are such a huge population in our continent today, where we see 1 billion worldwide, 20% of them in Africa specifically. So the need to really focus on youth and enable them is really, really key. So, of course, like you've mentioned, we have launched this virtual internships as Nestle East and Southern Africa. Since the onset of COVID-19, we've really, really seen a lot of our young people experience these detrimental effects. We see 1 out of 6 being out of jobs. We see 23% of them seeing a decrease in their working hours. But I think equally, COVID-19 has given us these exceptional opportunities to think a bit differently, where the virtual dynamic has become such a real reality for us. So we are so proud to launch these virtual internships as Nestle specifically, where young people come into the business, solve real problems for a certain period of time. And it's really doesn't matter where you are based. You could be in South Africa working on a project in Mauritius to just gain the kind of knowledge that you need. So to the kind of question of who qualifies, we at the moment are purely just looking at any young person who has qualified in any higher institution, regardless of the kind of qualification that they have, we welcome that they come on board and start registering for this opportunity.
What will this opportunity look like? Because, you rightfully say there's a lot of opportunities that COVID-19, particularly for the technical space, has opened for the online space. But what it also has done is exposed this huge disparity between those that do have and those that don't have. Kids who can go to school because their parents can afford data, and kids who can't go to school, for example, because, that is something that, is not accessible to them. So how will this look like for the 100 that come through? What will Nestle be giving to give them access at a technological level to this virtual e-learning process?
Perfect. Great question, KG. So number one, it's a project-driven initiative. So this group of 100 are going to be working on real business-specific projects. To your point around connections, we've got such a huge footprint as South Africa, especially in the East and Southern Africa regions, and that's where we are going to be, sourcing some of these internships. So we are ensuring that whoever it is that we bring on board will be enabled and fully equipped from an IT point of view, be it your typical tools of trade, if we'd call it, to ensure that they are enabled. And of course, things such as data connection, access to our database, are all things that would be fully covered for that group of 100. And it would look differently, of course, for the different group, depending which project you are working on and what is the expected output of that particular project.
Yeah. So specifically in the South Africa area, which I suppose is what we're reaching today as we're talking about, you speak of East Africa as well. How many do you want in South Africa? Is the 100 a reflection of all over Africa, or is the 100 only specifically for South Africa?
Just to build a context also, KG, so Nestle tends to have a footprint even in the East and Southern Africa region. So when we do send out these internships, we will be, calling upon widely. Of course, a large amount of our business does sit specifically in the South Africa area, where we are seeing ourselves with a number of factories based in South Africa, including our head office. So we anticipate to see a lot of opportunities stem specifically from South Africa, but of course, in any way excluding some of our colleagues or opportunities of other internships that could pop up in our East and Southern Africa side of the business as well.
Okay. So how long is the run then of the internship? And what sort of opportunities will the interns be exposed to during and then post, which is important as well, post the training that they will get?
Yeah, and maybe on that you are probably just touching on, how could they ultimately benefit, right? Well,
Yes.
What's in it for them? I think to definitely highlight some 3 areas that I just want to share on this platform. I think number one is understanding the business or the corporate as a whole. Not all of our young people do get that access of getting their foot in a corporate space, and these key business projects will allow you access to that. I think secondly, building some of those functional specific skills is going to be very key, because the projects are very business focused, whilst also building these lifelong skills that could contribute to their employability in future. For example, how do you package a CV for a future opportunity? What does personal branding mean? How do you navigate this digital age as a young person who's really trying to make it in a corporate space becomes key. A third important element for me is that character building skills is so key. Knowing yourself, knowing your purpose, understanding how to build one's own resilience. I think these are all key elements holistically that they get to benefit from, not just from a project piece, but also as individuals as well, becomes key. You spoke about the element of post, which I think is important to bring forth. We are in a partnership with Microsoft. Microsoft is one of our regional alliance partners in Nestle. So there's a great opportunity that at the end of these internship programs, they can secure an accredited certification through one of the Microsoft platforms. At the current moment, they offer over 10 skills programs on their portal, and it's an opportunity for all 100 to pick a skill of their choice and actually get accredited in that specific space. And in terms of time frame, as you'd ask, KG, these internships will run from anything from 8 to 12 weeks. And suppose giving us an opportunity if we take students in those different quarters and cohorts to rotate and give more young people that kind of opportunity.
Okay, by the way, if you want to ask a question to Desiree Zikalala, the head of learning for East and Southern Africa region at Nestle, about these 100 internships, you can call us on 0891 104 207. That's 0891 104 207, or SMS us on the number 41391 at Rand 50. Let's talk about the impact on your business as Nestle, because in my mind, right, and I may be wrong, in my mind I'm thinking, especially during the hard lockdown, we probably ate a lot of Nestle products because we were all just at home, really, at home, really eating and getting very fat. But what did happen, though, to many companies in South Africa and all over the world is that a lot of companies around the world have suffered very negatively the impact of COVID-19 because of the losses of jobs, because of people's inability to be able to spend to the degree that they could spend before COVID-19. What's been the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and the lockdown in specific in South Africa to your own business, to Nestle South Africa?
And I think to maybe your question, obviously COVID has impacted every corporate organization across the world even, and it has impacted us in different ways. I think for us, more than anything, it had have been really adapting to new ways of working and new ways of doing things. I think this different new normal called upon us to respond just a little bit differently to things we used to do and start considering how we are doing it differently. Whilst, of course, we still ensured, as Nestle would normally say, we're in Nestle that cares, that our employees are still protected and secured. There is an element of a large number of them that had to now transition and work from home. And again, touching back onto that virtual element that I spoke about earlier, or the core of this call, is, the virtual becoming the new normal, and all of us embracing the opportunities that COVID-19 has brought about and the virtual ways of working that we've now been introduced to. And of course, seeing how we can extend those to even our young people through internships to say, hey, if we can do it from home or wherever we are based and still add the right kind of value, we think our young people can do the same.
Yeah. What do you think, though, Desiree, that the biggest needs are currently when it comes to youth unemployment?
Yeah, I think you probably touched on some of it a little bit earlier. In my mind, after just referring how big the youth population is, I think it's still a bit concerning when you see just that gap in access of information that we see. You find that sometimes access of information is only accessible to the privileged group within our youth, further highlighting these gaps between the haves and the have-nots that we see today, and it shouldn't be that way. Furthermore, I think access to these kind of opportunities that Nestle and even their alliance make available, that every young person who's got the right kind of potential, with a promising future and the right kind of attitude, I think is deserving to have the same access, be it to information, knowledge, even opportunities. And I think those for me stick out the most.
Yeah. Okay. So, you said the target demographic that this program and initiative is going to serve in terms of age is what specifically?
So at this current moment in time, KG, we are looking at qualified young people from any higher institution of learning, be it was potentially a TVET, a university. If you've got some sort of a qualification, and we don't discriminate at the moment because a lot of our projects are emerging from the different disciplines we have in the business, be it, it could be digital, it could be marketing, it could be sustainability, where we are maybe looking for people with an engineering background. So we are not narrowing it down. It's a big number, being 100, which means we have a lot of projects we want to expose our young people to. So we really welcome people to come forward and take advantage of this opportunity.
So then let's talk logistics. How can young people access this, and what is the process of application like?
So earlier we spoke about the All for Youth Sub-Saharan Africa platform. So at the current moment, we are present in all our social media platforms, as you know, with your Twitters, LinkedIn, Facebooks, etc. As we speak, this opportunity has been put on blast across. So I would advise every young person who has this interest to go on All for Youth Sub-Saharan Africa social media platforms. You should find links that will take you directly to where you need to go. Furthermore, our Nestle Career Portal as well will providing the links that will enable young people to click in and be able to apply. So expect to be taken through a bit of a gamification process. Times have evolved. This is how we assess young people coming into the business. And yes, you finish your bit of your assessment process for the shortlisting process, and we take it from there. That's how we get to pick you up.
Fantastic. I think that pretty much covers it. Thank you so much for the time that you had to talk to us, Desiree Zikalala. We appreciate it. And we hope you get as many as you can. And we hope it's a turning point in a lot of young people's lives. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you, KG. Thank you for having me again.
Desiree Zikalala is the head of East and Southern Africa region at the Nestle company. It's 1:30 now. It's time for the news headlines with Utsile Saku.